Okay, hello everyone. My name is Anoosha Syed, and I'm a children's picture book author and illustrator and character designer for animation. I have a really fun vloggy vlog for you guys today because earlier this summer, me and my husband went on a 10-day road trip across California, and we started in LA where we celebrated the launch of my very new book. This is That's Not My Name, my author-illustrator debut, and because it was such a special occasion, I had a really fun book launch and signing with Gallery Nucleus, so that's where we started off. I then had a reading at a bookstore of this book, and then after that did a bit of a road trip, stopping at several cities across the Golden Coast up to San Francisco. This video is just like a collection of all the things I did, the artsy shops that I went to, a lot of art supplies that I bought, and it's just a really fun time. I actually visit California once a year because I have a lot of friends in animation who live out there, but unfortunately because of the pandemic, I could not do that since 2019. But this year I was really happy I was able to catch up with everyone. And so the really cool thing is that I interviewed all of my pals who are industry professionals in either illustration or animation, and I asked them the very important question of what advice would you give to a new artist just starting out? And I got some pretty good answers, so stick around, hear about them. That's really good advice. But with that all out of the way, go grab your little sippy cups of water or juice or tea or whatever, I don't know, and let's get on with it. Phew, okay, we're finally at the hotel room now. Our flight was delayed by 2.5 hours and it was a long drive and everything, so we are pooped. It is like 4 a.m. Toronto time, 2 a.m. LA time. We are hungry, so we've ordered some late night burgers and then we're gonna go straight to sleep because we have a busy day tomorrow. You enjoying yourself? What'd you have?
My mouth is full.
Your mouth is full? I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear us, but we're having lunch now at, what is it called?
Saul's
Tacos. We're really excited. We're super hungry. It's like a late lunch at like 4 o'clock. This is Betsy, and I'm doing a little interview with her. So I just wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for upcoming artists?
Yeah, so if you're an artist who's just getting started, remember that all of those hero artists that you have started somewhere. They weren't born into those positions. So remember that that could absolutely be you. There's no one saying that you can't go do those things. I am a visual development artist and illustrator and also a teacher. You can find me on Twitter at Bauer Power, on Instagram at Betsy Bauer Art, and then also if you're in Detroit, I teach at College for Creative Studies.
Every time I come to LA, I always go to my absolute favorite breakfast spot, Eggslut, for their amazing sandwiches. We had a busy day ahead of us with our first stop being Montrose for my bookstore visit. We got there a little bit early, so I was able to wander around a little bit, and it was such a cute little town. They had this gorgeous bookstore down the street, and it was just so absolutely packed with books and greenery. And then we got a little bit of a mid-morning snack, a little pastry and a coffee to go, and then it was time to head to the children's bookstore, Once Upon a Time bookstore, which actually happens to be the oldest children's bookstore in America. We started to set up a little bit. I wandered around, met up with the cutest little bookstore kitty cat, who unfortunately did not stay for too long and ended up going into our little hiding space up above the door. I think you might be able to see her up there. And then we started up for the story time reading. This was so much fun, and this was the first reading I did of That's Not My Name. And being able to share it with little kids was just so exciting. Honestly, I feel like the parents were even more excited than the kids were. And then I signed a couple of books for the bookstore and ended up getting this gorgeous book called Metropolis. I absolutely love how retro and modern the illustrations are. And I also picked up one of the t-shirts that you can see hanging up top. In a pleasant surprise, I also found out that my friend Heidi was scheduled for a reading like a week after me, and I was given a lovely gift bag as thanks for the visit.
It's a video.
It's a video.
I always think it's a picture.
No,
Always.
it's a video.
I've collaborated with Gallery Nucleus for several years now on group shows, and so I knew that I had to have my book launch here. It's a really amazing gallery focused on a lot of animation focused shows and working with like industry artists around. It's a really beautiful space, so if you get the chance, you should definitely check it out. They have a really amazing picture book section with gorgeously illustrated books, and they had a lot of merch as well that was really fun to see. In the main gallery space, they had an exhibition set up for the artist Nanako. Beautifully illustrated pieces, and you can see that my signing setup was towards the back. There is a second smaller gallery space upstairs in the atrium. The staircase is lined with art from all sorts of people, and currently it was the exhibition for Genevieve Godbout, who is one of my all-time favorite illustrators. She is also a picture book artist, and I've been so inspired by her since I was in high school. She uses a lot of color pencils in her pieces, and I actually have my own solo gallery show with Gallery Nucleus later this year, and I'm going to be in this upstairs space, so it's so crazy to know that I will be sharing this space with her. Love her work so much. But now it was time to get started with the event. So with this book signing, I was so happy to see a lot of people show up to say hi, to buy some books, get them signed, and a print that I had available as well. It was so lovely to meet friends and fans. It was a really great time.
Hi, my name is Taylor Martindale-Keene. I'm a literary agent with Full Circle Literary. I represent both authors and illustrators. My wise words of wisdom would be to, when you're developing your portfolio, really show the range of what you like to do, what you would want to be working on. Make sure you're including examples of children, examples of animal characters, so that we can really see, when we're taking a look at your portfolio, where we might imagine placing you in the market, or projects that we could see pairing you up with, so that we can see how we might want to grow and shape your career as time goes on, and where you could find a starting point. And once you do talk to agents, find a partner who is going to be matching your vision for what you want to do with your career, who's going to be proactive on your behalf, not someone who is really just maybe disagreeing with you or asking you to do things that don't match your vision for your career. And you want to partner in finding an agent.
Yes.
How's the stretch?
Needed.
Needed.
So how did it go?
Oh, yeah. It went really well. We started at like 6, it's 8 o'clock right now, and it was really cool. Like, I had like a decent amount of people like come in and say hi, and I signed a bunch of books, and yeah, it was just a really fun time. Thank you guys. And I'll be back here later on in October to do like a full solo gallery show, so that's gonna be really nice. Anyway, this was fun. We're gonna do dinner now. Okay, today we are just gonna be chilling and doing all of our sightseeing things, having breakfast right now. We're pretty much done with all of our events. And yeah, today's just gonna be our day for sightseeing and having a good time.
I keep thinking it's a picture.
The leaves right there, and this is natural stone. It's the same as this, yeah. In built underneath it, with so much concrete in there. So when they were doing it, we had a firefighter.
How is it?
So good.
What does it taste like?
Like really sweet cream soda.
Yummy!
My name's Amber and I am a storyboard artist at Disney TV, currently on Big City Greens. And if I have any like words of wisdom for anyone who wants to get into animation or any entertainment thing at all, is to not worry about having an ego. That should not be what you're focused on. You should choose projects based on what'll pay your bills. If you have people who are on the team that you're super passionate about and people that you really want to work with and fostering your career to the future, you don't have to think super highly of yourself. You can just do things that make you happy and be on projects with people who make you happy instead of things that are going to like further you in a materialistic kind of way. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram. All of my tags are MBRLEIGH.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Megan. I'm an illustrator. I'm like self-taught and I didn't go to art school or anything, and now I just sell like illustrations of my own work. Yeah, and I also have a YouTube channel. I would say to not be super hard on yourself. I feel like artists tend to have very firm goals and things. So yeah, I would just say don't put too much pressure on yourself to achieve a certain goal by a certain point. Just like be very gentle and take it easy and everything's gonna work out. On Instagram, I go by Studio Mikey. But on YouTube, I go by my name, which is my good name.
Hello, I'm Vicky. I go by Thank Shu on everything, and I'm an artist. I do art online, and I guess like my wisdom is just like, you know, make sure that what you're making is something that you're passionate about, and everything that you want to create into the world is not just like for anybody else or for like a more capitalistic purpose, I guess. It's like, it's great to have success and like to like have a good earning from art, but it really has to come from the heart, and that's what matters. And just have art like continuing to be something that makes you happy first and foremost.
Thank you. I literally just bought it on my first day at Saber Night. Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh yeah, you guys are, you can be in this, you can be in this. Yes, I love.
Hello, I'm Heidi Moreno, also known as Heidi Rue. I am an illustrator and sometimes author illustrator. I definitely would say enjoy right now, because sometimes it gets a little bit crazy when things happen, and I feel like I always look back and think fondly of the beginning. It was just really fun, and yeah, even if it was not my favorite art, it was fun. You can find me on Instagram at HeidiRue_art. My book Luna Oscura comes out on July 26th. That's happened already, the date, so just go anywhere and support it if you like black cats.
I'm Katie Cordesh and I'm a picture book illustrator. I think that I would have told myself to just follow my true dreams of wanting to do picture books, because I ended up going to school for animation, and that was mostly just to get a job.
Oh, I gotta put my glasses on.
You ready
For what?
to go?
Yes, I am.
Seagulls?
Probably.
Seagulls. Okay, good morning, friends. We are headed to the Otter viewing point. We're currently in Morro Bay. We slept over at this cute little inn, which was really nice. And then we're just going to be heading over to Monterey and just making a bunch of stops along the way. And I'm very excited to see some otters. What about you? What are you excited for today?
The otters, the potential of the sea lions.
Sea lions?
Or
yes.
was it elephant seals?
Elephant seals.
That's the one.
Yes.
I'm also excited for Big Sur. I heard that was beautiful. And we're going to this place. I forget the name, but it's like a cool rock formation on the coast.
Oh, yeah. I forget what it's called too, but it's going to be a really fun time.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you see this fog right now? Oh my goodness. Out of all the places that we visited while we were in California, I just absolutely fell in love with Morro Bay. I don't know what it is. I've just always been drawn to the ocean and to the vibe of like a fishing town. I've always envisioned myself living in a lighthouse and just painting on the docks and having like a little cat, and Dan would go and catch fish for us. I don't know, that was just absolutely fell in love with this place. After being out on like the beachy, sunny day yesterday, it was really surprising to see just how foggy and rainy it was around here. I don't know, I absolutely loved it here. I would definitely move if I could. Then after we had our little morning hike, we found this little thrift store. I picked up this really cute little cookie jar, and I was looking for the Avon Spice houses. Unfortunately, I didn't find them. Unfortunately, found this. And then we headed off to San Luis Obispo and just walked around over here. I thought this was a really lovely spot as well, really quiet. And while Dan walked around and just hiked and explored and took photos with his camera, I sat in one spot, and for the next hour, I just painted. When I grabbed my watercolors, unfortunately on this trip I had hoped to paint a lot, but apart from the little painting at the fish shop and here, unfortunately I just did not have any time, but I'm really glad I got to paint a little bit. We then visited Hearst Castle, which is a beautiful house and museum. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to take any photos, but then after that we went to see the seals. That was a really fun time. We stopped for another hiking spot, and just since we were driving along the coast, we just got the most amazing views for every second of the trip. Beautiful water, beautiful sunset, and it was so crazy to see how we went from beachy LA to slightly like sandier desert, and then eventually the foresty Bay Area. It was just so beautiful. All right, we are on our last part of our road trip before we head to San Francisco. We're in Carmel by the Sea, which is like this really cute little seaside town next to Monterey. And so we are doing the 17-mile drive, which is a super scenic drive by the water. Normally, because unfortunately the fog is so thick and it's pretty much ruining any chance of getting any views of the water. So we're able to make little stops along the water because that's relatively clear, but the drive itself, we cannot see a thing, so it's kind of a shame. I mean, we're still enjoying it.
Yeah, we definitely are. It's still a beautiful place, but it would have been more beautiful without the fog.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, after this, we're heading to the aquarium and then driving straight to San Francisco, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Also getting excited coming up towards the top, but they need to be cautious because right now all of our predators are getting their fill. We are feeding the larger animals like the long.
Good job!
Out of all of the places on our California trip, the one place that I really wanted to visit was the Walt Disney Family Museum. It is a museum dedicated to the life of Walt Disney as well as the history of the studio, the parks. I thought it was so fascinating just seeing the creation of everything, the very spooky, ooky Mickey Mouse merchandise. That was really fun. As expected, they did not cover the more controversial stuff, but I did really enjoy just looking at all of the gorgeous original artwork, the little figurines. It was really beautiful to see the development artwork for some of the early Disney movies. Before we went to the museum, on the website I saw that filming was not allowed. So when we got to the ticket counter, I told them like, hey, is it fine if I take some photos and videos for my channel? We ended up getting in for free. We got our tickets refunded because we are considered press. So that felt very cool.
It's actually really cool. You can like control like backwards and forwards and like how fast it goes, like or like
I am definitely a low-key Disney adult, unfortunately, but Dan was coming in fresh, so it was kind of fun just showing him the ropes of what I've learned off of channels like Defunctland and Jenny Nicholson's channel. It was so stunning to see these original pieces. Mary Blair, of course, that was one of my favorite parts. One of the coolest things that was in the museum was this replica of the Walt Disney park. What is it called? Disneyland. Yeah, of course. Of course, It's a Small World, looking so cute. Absolutely love miniatures. This is a piece by Avon Earl, one of my favorite Disney concept artists. Some more behind the scene looks at It's a Small World. Beautiful, stunning artwork. I don't know, I just have so much to say about this. I was really excited to get something from the gift shop, but unfortunately, nothing was really that appealing, although they did have a great selection of little golden books. Gorgeous tile, I'd love to have this in my home. Along with their main museum, they have a changing secondary exhibition. Currently, they were showing the Jungle Book. Gorgeous work by Walt Paraguay, another one of my absolute favorite visual development artists. I was really excited to see the behind the scenes of this movie. It's definitely an underrated classic. And you guys know I'm Pakistani, and although this movie is really not authentic at all to the South Asian experience, it was still like really interesting to see, you know, just like the art inspired by it. As we were going up to the second floor, they had these really fun movie posters from around the world that were really fascinating. Some were like the ones you might have seen before, and then you had some interesting ones like these. The exhibition featured all kinds of development work, including cells, storyboards, but absolutely my favorite thing were the character design sketches. I adored these ones. I think this was probably my favorite thing I saw at the exhibition, along with these really cute plushes. Now, why wasn't this in the gift shop? I would have bought that. After the museum, I was supposed to go meet up with some of my art friends, and Dan was gonna go explore San Francisco, but we did have a bit of time to kill before we split up. So, of course, I wanted to go visit as many quirky little art supply and gift stores that I possibly could in the street that we were around in. Dan is so supportive, like he was absolutely bored. He's the best. I cannot help but go into every single one of these stores. I don't care if it's the same things every time, although this store was so much fun. It was like a children's toy store, but like really eclectic with gorgeous stuff inside. But yeah, very supportive. I could tell he was very bored, but I guess that's what love is. Anyway, we split up and I headed to Case for Making, which is yet another art supply store, to meet up with my pals who are also picture book illustrators. You can see them over here. Hello, hi. So one of the reasons we came here was because they are famous for their homemade watercolors. You can see them here and just how vivid and bright they are. Really gorgeous selection. However, they were quite expensive, which is totally valid, although I picked up one of their defective watercolors in yellow, of course, as well as their ink, which apparently is really good as well. Next, we started walking around a little bit and we headed to this cute little gift store next door. Finally, we headed to a bookstore and my book was actually on display there, but I also had the most surreal experience where as we were walking around, we saw a dad reading my book to his little girl and we were just kind of like sneakily spying on them and giggling. It was just so cool. I was too embarrassed to say hi, although I did sign some books for the bookstore.
I'm Kaylee Quarles. I'm a children's book illustrator.
Awesome. And what is your advice for a younger you?
I would say to learn how to step away and don't get so stuck sitting in front of a computer and throwing yourself at something. Take a break, go for a walk, pet some cats, and get away from the screen for a bit. Like, it brings so much clarity if you can just step away and come back to something with fresh eyes.
Okay, awesome. And where can people find you?
At Kaylee Quarles on all social.
Hey, my name is Sophie Diao and I'm a children's book illustrator and author with a book coming out next year that I've written by myself for the first time. Yes, I illustrated this book named I Am Golden, written by Eva Chen. My advice for younger me or any new artist is to make time to listen to your inner voice. Remember what drew you to art in the first place. Remember what was fun, what you liked and disliked. And learn how to filter out the noise of the external world. But also stay flexible. If something seems like a lot of fun, follow it even if it doesn't seem like the logical path that you should be taking. And just, stay loose, stay yourself, and follow your bliss. They can find me on Instagram at Sophie Diao, and that's pretty much it.
She's so cute. Come here.
So cute. We gotta go.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Phew. Okay, so I am back in the studio and it's kind of good to be back. Yeah, so let's just do a quick debrief on what my trip was like. So I was probably talking throughout the entire video anyway, but so yes, I was gone for a full 10 days from the 21st to the 31st, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, I love the West Coast so much. Just like, I mean, I love Toronto, but the weather, the nature, I mean, I live in Ontario, and while we do have some pretty forests, I mean, like, the nature just does not compare to how beautiful the beaches were, the redwoods. I mean, just like everything was so beautiful. Everything we ate was like chef's kiss, so freaking good. I can't wait to go back. I'm actually going to be going back in October for Lightbox Expo and also for my solo gallery show with Gallery Nucleus, which is super exciting. And we won't have time to do another like road trip, but hopefully we'll be able to spend more time in the greater, what is it called? The greater LA County area. Also, I apologize for any outside noises you might hear. There's a bit of construction going on outside. But yes, this trip was so great. I mean, like, signing went really well. Thank you guys, everyone who came out to see me for the book launch. It was really great. And I was able to meet with a lot of friends, and the book reading went really well as well. So I figured that to end this video off, it would be fun to just do a little bit of a haul because I went shopping. Partially because vacation vibes, treat yourself, but partially because I went to a lot of art supply stores, some by myself, some with my friends. And you guys in the US, you got variety. You guys have those good deals and prices. So of course, I could not leave without getting a bunch of art supplies. So yes, onto the haul side of this video. Okay, I also switched out my camera lens so you can partially, see the difference between my wide angle, my new wide angle versus my old one that I have. And look how zoomed in I am. It's definitely this camera, as beautiful as it is, like look how blurry the background is. It's not great for the studio because it's kind of small, but I figured that this would be better for like capturing those, the detailed shots of my haul. So let's get to it. So when I was at the book reading at Once Upon a Time, as a thank you, they gave me this really cute mug, which I'll probably end up using for like storing art supplies, paintbrushes, and things like that. They also gave me this little bookmark, which has a kitty cat on the back. Read and chill. They also had this really cute little pin, which I'm going to hang up on my new pin banner. When I was at Once Upon a Time, this was the only book I ended up picking up, and I believe this is the only actual picture book that I got on my entire trip. Even though I wanted to buy a lot of books, I was strong. I thought that the art style was really unique and super graphic and mid-century modern, and definitely thought that I could learn a thing or two from this book. I also picked up this t-shirt from that bookstore, which I think is probably my favorite thing that I own now. One of the people who came by to the Gallery Nucleus book signing was this person, a really cool artist, who also had some sticker gifts, which was really sweet of them. And speaking of sticker gifts, when I went out to meet Megan and Vicky, my goodness, Vicky pulled through. She got me like all of her stickers and prints. Like I can't even like describe how much stuff is over here. And I have no idea where I'm gonna put all of this. I'm really excited to decorate my studio and everything, but thank you so much, Vicky. I feel actually really bad that I did not bring anything for you. I'm so sorry. I'm especially super duper pleased with the I'm Stinky sticker. I love this one so much. When I was at, what is it called? Dick Blick's or just Blick's? I don't know. When I was at Blick's art supply store, my goodness. Again, you Americans, you have a real good with your really cheap, comparatively, art supplies. And so I had seen the Arches watercolor paper and I knew I had to get it because it was a pretty good deal and everyone has been saying that Arches is so good, so I had to get it and I cannot wait to try it out and see if it makes a difference. And pardon the reflection, but you can see that I got the hot pressed, which is a lot smoother than the cold pressed, but because I'm working with multimedia and a lot of different materials, I think the hot press might be better for my technique. At Dick Blick, they also had this book for clearance, only for $6, which is really crazy. So it's like an how-to guide for gouache with like these really interesting, just like the basics of working with gouache, as well as some tutorials for how to paint like pretty specific paintings that this artist has done. So, I mean, like I have mentioned before, I'm trying to learn how to do gouache, and while I haven't had a chance to read this yet, I think most of the stuff will be stuff I already know how to do, but I think this could be like a good way for me to like try out these exercises and play around with things in a no pressure kind of way. So we'll see how this goes, especially because it was only $6. I also got this pencil case from Flatty, which is extremely cute. I love this periwinkle kind of color. It's got a magnet close, so no zipping. It's clear on the inside. It's got like 2 little pockets over here, as well as a flap over here and these 2 little guys. I don't know how much it can actually hold, so we'll test it out, but I think this could be like a good way for me to travel with some light pens and things on the go, so we'll see how this goes. I got a Pentel brush pen. I absolutely loved using these when I was in college, and I've been trying to find them for ages, but could not find them at all in Canada, so I got one of these. I got this Winston and Winsor & Newton watercolor marker. I thought that this color was absolutely beautiful in the store. And I haven't played around with it yet, but I'm very excited to. I also got a Copic fine liner marker because I wanted to make sure that I can use these pens without them like smudging everywhere. But I can't find the pen, so trust me when I say that I got it. So speaking of, I also got this Copic in the color Honey, where I needed a yellow which I could use within my sketchbook without it bleeding like crazy with the ink, and this seemed to do the job pretty well. I wanted to paint while I was on my trip, and so I got one of these Pentel water pens, which again, I loved to use when I was in college, but I haven't picked one up since. There was some gouache on sale, and I thought that this was a nice kind of a good tone for mixing to create like different types of skin tones, like good base colors. So I got this in the shade Brilliant Jaune. When we were in San Francisco with Sophie and Kaylee, we stopped at this like really cool art supply store, and they hand make their own watercolors, which was absolutely crazy. But they were really expensive, which I completely understand, but it was out of my budget at the time. But they had these defective watercolor babies. And so I got this one in a yellow, of course, and we'll see how it goes. They said that like the defective only means that like there were some cosmetic issues with them, so otherwise it should work out okay. Sophie recommended that I try out this ink that they sell, which was also a really beautiful color. Haven't tried it out yet, but I will one day. Speaking of Sophie, she got me this pin, which was really sweet of her. One of the other things that I got at that fancy art supply store was this Winsor & Newton watercolor pencil set. I've been wanting watercolor pencils for a while, but everywhere I saw they were really expensive, and even at Dick Blick's they were like $26. And so I was really happy to see I found these for only $15 at that fancy art supply store, and super excited to use these. And finally, at that little vintage store at Morro Bay, I got this cookie jar, which obviously is going to be used for art supplies, which I think is beyond cute. I think the level of detail is really stunning, and I love it. Okay, that is pretty much the end of the vlog. I'm sorry it ended up pretty abruptly. We only spent 2 days in San Francisco, which was a lot shorter than we originally intended, but we ended up extending our road trip to get there just because there were so many beautiful sights. And honestly, even though it's just like a 3-day road trip, we could have spent like a whole week just stopping at all these beautiful spots. But San Francisco, first day, we mostly hung out with my friends and explored the city. Second day was like our own, solitary time where we got to like walk around the city. And then we came back in the afternoon to just kind of relax a little bit. And then we both napped. And then we were like, you know what, do we want to go outside? I know there's so much other stuff, but like, what if we just order in food and just call it a night? Because honestly, once we got back to the hotel room and we took our nap, we realized just how homesick we were. I mean, it was such an amazing trip, but like, I think it was just so much in such a short amount of time. We were just super pooped. And so for our last day in California, we just watched TV in bed and ate yummy takeout. And then we left early the next morning. And yeah, I think it was such a success of a trip. I really loved it. I really wish we had more time, but I'm so glad I got to meet all my friends, that I got to share my book with everyone, and I really hope I get to do it again. I'm actually wearing the shirt that I got from that bookstore in LA. And yeah, it was just a really great time. And I just want to also say how sorry I am that like I'm posting this video so late, because this was literally like 6 months ago or something. But I've just been really busy with my book stuff that's going on right now. But I really hope that I get out my next vlog to you guys pretty soon. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, and hopefully I get to do this again with my second book? Question mark? Who knows? But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and have a good one. You can tell how long it's been because I've cut my hair, and this is very new. I'm also in a new space. Don't worry, I have a video discussing that soon too. But yeah, bye.